This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Radio Show is being brought to you by The Barbecue Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that The Barbecue Guru is controlling your pit temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you'll really love. Grilling with pellets. Green Mountain pellet grills are the top of the line, best of the best, but not the highest in price. And be sure to check out all of their flavor rubs, sauces, and pellets for the Green Mountain Grill all on their website. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to peruse the entire products portfolio. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets. 2/3 oak, 1/3 flavor wood, giving you that perfect combination of BTU burn and sweet, succulent smoke you're looking to get all over your meat. A wide variety of flavors, so please go to the website to check it out and get yours today. Barbecuer's Delight, which is bbqrsdelight.com. And by JP Custom Smoke, a competitive barbecue team out of Wichita, Kansas, manufacturing the highest quality barbecue rubs on the market today. Looking to increase your competition scores? Looking to get the hearty high fives and hand clasps at the neighborhood barbecues? Look no further than JP Custom Smoke. In the market for a high-quality offset wood-burning barbecue pit, JP Custom Smoke has years of experience building high-quality, fully customizable, and extremely fuel-efficient barbecue pits. Visit jpcustomsmoke.com for more information.
This is Rennie Knopf with ChampionshipBBQ.tv, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, rapidly becoming known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening live fire and cooking and grilling show, whatever. You want to jump in on the show tonight? More than welcome to do it. 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you would like. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything else you want to find out about the show? More about me, the history of archives of the show since day one of the live broadcasts, all the way back in 2007, once we started on latalkradio.com. Shout out, by the way, LA Talk. Shout out. Still carrying the first hour. It's a 2 hours. Never mind. Everything else about the show, thebbqcentralshow.com. Huge show on tap for you this evening. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, a guy long overdue in the Barbecue Central show, Dwellings, Ted Reeder, joins us. Teddy! 9:35. Current KCBS president, Barbecuers Delight owner Candy Weaver joining us. Candy, by far, has been the best recurring KCBS guest, board member-wise, I have ever had in the history of the show, so I appreciate that to no end. And then we'll move to the second hour, 10:14. Having a hellacious 2013 Matt Dalton left coast cue. Yes, I am wearing the shirt, by the way, just for good karma all the way around. And helping me close out the show tonight, believe it or not, somebody who else is having a hellacious season, Mike Wozniak, QWOW, joins us. Wow. Hey-oh, big show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Big show, yeah! You can jump in at any point, 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Look, I tell you to do it each and every week, and maybe some of you don't think I'm being serious, but I am wholeheartedly asking you to do me a favor. If you have social media, if you have an email address, go up to Compose All. Let everybody know you're listening to the show right now. You can listen to it two ways. If you know somebody doesn't have a computer, but they do have a smart device, send them to my website, thebbqcentralshow.com. If you know somebody has a computer or they have Roku or whatever, send them to outdoorcookingchannel.com. Do it. For me, tweet it out, Facebook it, do whatever you can. Let everybody know that the show's on right now. And it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, and you do it each and every week. And they should be Centralites as well. Doesn't everybody want to be a Centralite? Yes, of course they do. Now, I did mention Roku just a second ago. It's a little bit different. You do need to have a Roku box, which you can get pretty much at any electronic store at this point. Or take the easy way out like I did, ROKU, Roku.com. It ships right to your door. Depending on what model I get, I think almost for free as well, in the shipping department-wise. And as long as you have an internet connection, high speed, at your house, you can have the magic and majesty of the Barbecue Central radio show / television show on your big screen. Enjoy it with a fine libation. So, a quick note here, and I'm not at liberty to get into any type of detail, but I do want to wish my main man, my friend, Craig Goldwyn, a speedy recovery. Meathead! Shout out, Meathead. Look, every week I am prepping for guests, trying to make sure that I am up on the competition scenes and seeing who's doing well and what teams are falling off and what teams aren't falling off. Maybe on the come up, one man's trash is another man's come up. I don't even know what that means. I hear it on the song every once in a while on Hits 1 and Sirius Satellite Radio because my kids listen to it. But if you aren't using this website to check in all of this barbecue competition stuff, you have to check out bbqrace.com. Unpaid solicitation right here. Keep up with all the barbecue competition stuff that you might be missing out on. The owner of this site, Heath Hall from Pork Barrel Barbecue, has actually been on the show. We talked about it when it initially launched, but man, I am telling you, this site is so user-friendly. It has so much information in it. Just a few clicks get you to Team of the Year standings, individual teams and their results, their trends, scores. They have badges for Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Championships and how many teams have won those. It gives you, if they're in the top 100 in any category, how many competitions they've currently done for the beginning, since the beginning of the calendar year. I love this site. I use it all the time for show prep. I have actually started to use it during the show. If I want to get a stat or bring up something in particular about a past competition, I pull it right up here as we are do-daddling on the show, bbqrace.com. You got to check it out. I love this site. Got to check it out. All right, now here's something that I did notice. When I had Dave Bosca on when we were recounting his veritable ass-kicking of Rolling Smoke and whoever the other guy was on Barbecue Pitmaster. Dave, moving on. Did anybody else pick up on that little trick that he showed? I was watching, 2 weeks ago, I was watching Barbecue Pitmasters. And right before the 9 o'clock airing of whatever the newest episode is, they show like previous ones, and that one happened to be the one with Dave Bosca. right before he started doing any prep on the ribs as far as rub, what did he do? He took out the secret weapon, little H2O. Dropped a little water on the ribs, then put the rub on, because in his words, if you go back and listen to it, I didn't catch it the first time. There was so much great information that he was disseminating across the airways on Barbecue Pitmasters. I missed this nugget. But he said, hey, when you think about it, rub is like a dehydrated spice. Put a little water layer down first and then put on the rub. It helps it, I guess, rehydrate. And so does it help it soak in better? Is that what it is, Dave? Or it rehydrates the spice, since it is, in his terms, a dehydrated spice. Water's going to help it rehydrate. And it's, fabulous. I was just going to say, Dave, you got a new product coming out right now. It's called Rib Water, ladies and gentlemen. ButcherBBQ.com. Look for it at a competition near you. But that's definitely something I've been a big fan of, hitting it with EV olive oil and then rub. I think I might try a little water next time and see if this Dave Bouska character knows what the hell he's talking about. So if you didn't get that trick when you saw it either in the original airing, when he smacked the other two teams around and moved on, and handily, I might add, and didn't get it on a number of replays since then, because I believe Destination America only shows Barbecue Pitmasters. It shows some type of infomercials early in the morning until like 8 or 9 o'clock, and they get right back into the grilling and barbecue again. It's a Destination Barbecue is what it should be called. Try it out and let me know. Have you tried it out? Let me know what you think. Is it awesome? Does it make the biggest difference in the world? Want to know? I'm going to try it myself. Let me show you some pictures. In an effort to contradict myself, 2 weeks ago, I talked about when is enough. They're probably in the garage looking at that kitty. Yeah, the pussy. I talked about when is enough when it comes to barbecue. Bacon, I'm sorry. So, in an effort, as I said, to contradict myself fully, we go right to the pictures. 2 weeks ago, I made bacon-wrapped hot dog. Here they are, starting out. Just your regular Hebrew National Schweens wrapped. 2 pieces of bacon per hot dog, by the way. One wasn't going to be enough, but didn't wrap around fully enough. So then they went on the grill, and then this is what it looked like in the bun. You can see a nice caramelization on the bacon. Obviously, the hot dog was cooked to perfection. And then I did a little Kewpie mayo and mustard because I was afraid that ketchup would react weirdly with the bacon flavor. So here's what it looked like in the finished project. Man, I got to tell you, man, it was pretty good. It wasn't over the top. In the background, you see I call them smoked, quartered and smoked potatoes, a secret recipe that is basically salt potatoes, which I get at BJ's, and then I cut those in quarters, little EV olive oil, little salt, a lot of salt, and then on the cooker, and I guess half an hour at 350 or whatever it is. Those are succulent because you get a nice little smoked profile on those. And then the Kewpie mayo, the mustard on that hot dog that is wrapped in bacon. It was good. The presentation was probably, a little more beneficial than anything else. The flavor didn't wow me. I wasn't like, oh, that's awesome. I wasn't like, hey, everybody, bacon-wrapped hot dogs are the greatest thing ever. Okay. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you next week, okay? It didn't hit me like that. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. What could make it greater? You tell me. I'm here all night. Folks, let me talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru, the creators of barbecue pit temperature control technology in the automatic sense. If you're a busy working professional, if you are constantly on the run with kids, you've got errands to do, you need to spend lazy days at the pool, and you don't have time to sit around tending pit temperature controls, nobody understands more than me, right? I have a day job. I have this job from 9 to 11 on every Tuesday. I have hours of prep time in advance to make sure I'm providing a succulent show to you. I don't have time to sit around tend pit temperatures. Come on. You go to thebbqguru.com. You look through their entire automatic pit temperature control device inventory. You will find the CyberQ Wi-Fi. you will find the CyberQ 2, the DigiQ DX2, and, of course, this Party Q, now at $130, and as we talked to Bob Trudnak last week, getting a little facelift, a little revamp, but still at $130, and it's what I affectionately refer to as the horror of automatic pit temperature control devices, because it can go from a kettle grill to a bullet-style smoker to a big green egg-style, ceramic-style cooker. It's $10 more if you do have the ceramic-style, because you need an extra gasket or an extra flange or something to go on the bottom vent. But even at $139, bargain. Also, don't forget, if you're in the market for a cooker Onyx oven, winning in the competition circuit as well as in the backyards all over the country, fully insulated, holds a ton of meat, accommodates half and full pans for food service. You know it's going to work seamlessly with the Barbecue Guru devices as well. Do yourself a favor, head on over to thebbqguru.com, thebbqguru.com, or call them 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. The Barbecue Guru is a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back with one of my favorite guys ever, Ted Reeder. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are back, 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Email in from John Dawson Remp. Since many flavor compounds are alcohol soluble, maybe water and vodka or bourbon would be a great idea. Hey, why not? I'm not a big fan of vodka. I love bourbon, though. Speaking of bourbon, I know my next guest loves bourbon more than me. We might be able to fist fight to see who likes bourbon better. My next guest, Ted Reeder, joining us here on the show. Teddy, how are you, buddy? I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Teddy. Always appreciate you making time for the show. I mentioned, here's an interesting thing. Let me get your take on this. This isn't something I actually planned to ask you about. I was watching this Barbecue Pitmasters TV show, and one of the guys who's a show sponsor who had actually moved on a couple weeks ago, Dave Bosca from Butcher Barbecue, let out a secret where he said, hey, before we put on the rub for the ribs, he puts a little layer of water down, and he said, hey, the rub is kind of like this dehydrated spice, so you put a little water down, and then you put the rub on, it kind of helps it rehydrate and maybe give it even a little bit more flavor. As being somebody in this food service industry, in the barbecue industry, does that lend some credit to you? What do you think about that?
Yeah, a lot of, especially when you get into manufacturing and food processing, meat, water, rub. One helps increase the moisture of in the meat, and also helps facilitate the even coating of the spice rub over top of the ribs, especially when you're trying to season more than one rack at a time. So, in processing, they'll do a vat that holds 5,000 pounds of ribs. And they throw them in there, and they put a certain percentage of water, and they put a certain percentage of spice, and tumble it up and draw a vacuum and put some moisture into them. So putting some water down on it and adding rub will also enhance your ribs nicely.
Ted Reeder joining us here on the show. Of course, the website, tedreeder.com. I also know you like ice-cold beer just as much as the next guy. Let me ask you something. In Europe, it's known that beer is not necessarily served ice-cold, especially in the pub setting. This is more of an American thing as far as ice-cold beer is concerned. As someone who's traveled around to many different places, countries, tasted many beers, aside from any way you can get it for free, which temperature does beer taste best at, in your opinion?
Oh, icy cold. I'm sorry, I'm a crazy Canuck, and the Europeans, as wonderful as they are, I'm sorry, beer tastes way better when it's icy cold. on a hot day, when you're sweating your nutbag off, let's just put it that way. Nothing goes down smoother than a cold, cold beer. The last thing I'd want is a warm cup of beer. You might as well give me a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and throw me in a ditch. Who gives a shit? Give me beer and give it to me cold.
One time I was enjoying a fine bourbon on the rocks right around midday, and my twin brother looked at me like I had poured like a glass of broken glass and was drinking. And he's like, I can't believe you're drinking a bourbon at noon instead of a beer. Is that like sacrilege? Should you not drink bourbon until like 5 o'clock in the evening as a cocktail or what?
I just can't believe you waited all the way till noon.
Right?
Hell, I get up in the morning and have one at 7:30 or 8. Kickstart my day.
Boom, let's start now. Jack Daniels, if you please, right?
Jim Beam.
Right.
I'm liking the Jim lately. It's pretty tasty, and the Maker's Mark. I've always been a bourbon guy. I do like my Jack, but I tell you, I love my bourbons, and there's so many more varieties to choose from. It's great. It's like going to a buffet. A buffet of bourbon.
I've noticed quite a prolific amount more bourbons that have hit the market, even in the last 12 to 14 months than I have seen in the last 8 to 10 years that I was I was introduced to bourbon by a fellow coworker a number of years when we were working the truck show down in Kentucky in Louisville, and since then have become a very big fan of it. But to see the amount or the selection of bourbon that we have now is really kind of mind-boggling. It seems the brown liquor has kind of really taken favor, not only here in the States, but in North America in general.
For sure. I have a quite large bourbon collection. It used to be bigger, but at the largest point, I think it was probably 120 different bottles. And most of that I collected during the 90s. And I was drinking a lot of bourbon back then. And, I've always liked it. I like that flavor of the smoky barrel. And not that I don't in a Tennessee sour mash, but it just there's something about it that's just real smooth. And I got to tell you, I have a first batch bourbon from Woodford Reserve, and I have their 10th batch bourbon from Woodford Reserve, and their 100th small batch bourbon. And they are treasures in my little shrine of bourbon. And one day, and very soon, I'm going to start to crack those. And I look forward to them. And I love to cook with it. So having a cocktail of bourbon at noon is okay by me. Straight up or on the rocks, however you like it. But at breakfast, it's even better.
Absolutely. Ted
Goes
Reeder.
Great on Captain Crunch, too.
Right. Ted Reeder joining us here on the show. So 4th of July for the people in the States here coming up in just a matter of days. Huge grilling day for many folks here. What are some of the most important things folks need to do to make sure the grill is safe if this is the first time they're rolling it out?
Well, if this is the first time they're rolling it out, I'm telling them, shame on you. July 4th is the first time you get this thing in.
Really? Give me a break.
And that thing should be going year-round.
Absolutely.
But for the 4th of July, one is a clean grill is a hotter grill, and a clean grill is a healthier grill. And so you want to make sure it's clean. You want to make sure if it's a gas grill that it's in working order. You want to make sure that if it's a kettle grill, maybe some of those legs are a tripod style, those things, you want to make sure it's all secure and everything's ready for when you go to start your charcoal or your gas and start cooking. And then from there, it's open season. It's the 4th of July. It's a time to celebrate. We just finished our Canada Day, and I love the 4th of July. I love the fact that Americans celebrate with gusto and with love and passion, and I think that's awesome, and I think you should cook the same way. And if you're going to, whatever you're going to fire up. I just made burgers for my wife and I tonight, and I bought some bratwurst sausages, and I just peeled them out of the casing and then mixed it up, and I added a little bit of extra garlic and threw in some smoked paprika and planked those up on maple planks and glazed them with a mixture of bourbon, maple syrup, chipotle Tabasco, and a little bit of barbecue sauce. And they were juicy and moist, and I shaped them in like a triangle, so they looked like a giant dinosaur egg. and they were mouth-watering. Like, I mean, I ruined a T-shirt tonight, and I just put a brand new one on today. And so you know that if you're going to have a burger and you ruin a T-shirt while eating it, that's a good thing.
Yeah, somebody's done something right, no doubt about it. Now,
that's it.
So there, typically people might have, let's say, 15 to 30 people. I know that's kind of a big variation, but depending on how many people you know, how long you've been in a neighborhood, you could have a swing like that. Are you a big fan of having your guests take part in the cooking aspect or having these food bars? Or are you not too much into the other people being hands-on as far as that's concerned?
No, I love it. I wish my neighborhood could do something like that. They all expect me to cook, and it'd be like, I want to try other people's grilled foods and smoked foods and barbecued foods. I want to see what they're doing, and because you can never stop learning, and you might pick up a trick. And even a guy that, like me, that's been around the block a few thousand times, I want to try something new, and I see stuff all the time from different fans that post stuff on Facebook and other social media, and I say to myself, wow, that's really cool. I'm going to like tweak that or play with that or modify that, and you learn something. And so I want to try all the different taste sensations, whether they be good or bad. Maybe someone will ask me for a way of doing it better if they can't, if they fail at it. But everyone should get out there and try. And if you try and it comes out just okay, well, then you try again and you just try and make it better. Every time you go to your grill or your smoker, make it a little bit better than the last time. And then you're improving and you're learning. Everybody has to start as a beginner at some point. Experts. I remember the first time I fired up a grill. I knew nothing. And, I still learn when I watch charcoal getting ready, and you look at the wind and the weather and what's going on, and you take note. So get out there and cook. That's the way it goes. And I'd love to try it all. And that's a long version answer. Sorry.
No doubt about it. The majority of people, it's probably going to be hamburgers at some point. Some of the more intermediate to expert-level backyard guys might take on the bigger cuts of barbecue meat like the briskets, the pork butts, the ribs. But there's going to be a lot of burgers consumed. You're one of the foremost authorities on burgers. You have one of the best books out there about burgers. What's some of the top 2 or 3 tips to making a great burger? And we're not talking about going to the grocery store and buying the pre-made crap that's in the case. But we're talking about making your own burgers. What are the best 2 or 3 tips you can give us?
Okay, number one, if you have your own meat grinder, then you can buy the cuts of meat that you want to grind and create your own and grind it yourself. I recommend grinding twice. But if you're not gonna grind it yourself, then go and find a butcher, and you can look in the meat counter and you can say to your butcher, hey, I want 3 pounds of ground beef, and I want you to give me 1 pound of chuck, 1 pound of sirloin, and 1 pound of brisket, and I want you to throw a little bit of extra fat in there and grind it up. And I want you to grind it twice. So the first thing is your burger's only going to be as good as the ingredients you buy. So get yourself a great butcher. Number 2, I don't like to season my burgers. I like them plain and simple, especially when I've gone to the trouble of getting a really great raw material. And I just put a little bit of salt and pepper, and I form them, and I don't pack them. But after I make my burger patties, they got to go back in the fridge. So tip number 2 is, after making the patties, into the refrigerator and let them get icy cold. A cold burger grills far more easily than a freshly made burger. It'll also allow the meat to rest and the proteins to bind and keep that burger patty together once it goes on the grill. And third, when it's on the grill, put some nonstick cooking spray on both sides of it, or a little spritz of some olive oil or vegetable oil. That'll help keep it from sticking to your grill. And the last is, don't push it, don't squish it, don't cut it open, let it cook. When it comes clean from the grill, it's ready to leave. If you try and lift it from the grill and it's stuck there, it's not done cooking yet. Then flip it over. But no pushing, no cutting, no stepping on it, no nothing. Let it be juicy. That's the key. And eat it, and enjoy it, and ruin a T-shirt. Are you there, Greg?
Sorry about that, Teddy.
It's all right.
Temperature-wise on the grill, is it better to be 450 or higher? Is a lower heat more prudent, like 350 or so? What's the best way to cook them?
I like to put the burgers on medium high to high, and once it starts to sizzle and I see my first flare-up, and it's just a little bit of a flare-up, but once I see that, I just turn it down to about medium, keep the lid open, and just watch it cook. Once you put the burgers on, you never want to leave, because burgers tend to have a bit of fat in them, and you can get a grease fire extremely quickly. So once they're on, you don't leave your post. Pretend you're in the military, and you got to guard those burgers, and you got to make sure that they're not going to burn. And that's it. When you get a little flare-up, turn the heat down, move the burger out of the way.
All right, so you're widely recognized as the master planker across the wide sweeping world, maybe the galaxy. You've planked any and all things imaginable to the human mind. You have to go to a planked burger recipe for us that we might be able to try if we're into planking on Thursday.
Beerlicious burger out of my cookbook or on my website. It's basically I take your best ground beef that you want and make sure, and I form it into a ball, and I make it a giant, like a baseball, somewhere in between a hard ball and a softball. About 6 ounces worth of meat, and I pack it not too firmly, but firmly enough. But I make it nice and round like a baseball, and I put them on the grilling planks. I like to use hardwood maple. I've pre-soaked the plank. If you want to take some, which is kind of cool, is you take cheese strings, white or orange, and you cut them into half-inch cubes, and then you put those in with the meat mixture. And get those really icy cold. The colder the cheese is when you add it to the meat, the more it's going to stay in that burger. So you got this baseball with all these cheese pieces in it. You put them on the plank. You put them in the grill, 350 to 425 degrees. Close the lid and plank grill it, checking it occasionally for about 35 minutes until you hit an internal temperature of about 150. Pull them off and garnish. Don't squish them. Don't flatten them. You want a big baseball, because then you need a flip-top head to eat them.
Where do you get those?
The flip-top head?
Yeah.
Dentist.
Indeed.
Go to your dentist.
Oh, those sound absolutely phenomenal. We're talking with Ted Reeder. TedReeder.com is the website if you want to check it out. Let me change gears here just for a second here. I want to ask you a couple off-the-wall questions. Last week I had Derek Riches on the show. He's from bbq.about.com. And he said, even with this concerted effort in marketing and health studies to curb the popularity of the traditional lighter fluid, that really over the years it has barely made a difference in the grand scheme of things as far as who's purchasing, who isn't. There have been non-petroleum-based options available that just have really never gained real popularity. If there are healthier options available, why do you think that consumer isn't going to and demanding it to be more widely available to buy? Is it the inherent laziness, or we're going to do what we've always done type of a deal, or is there something else like Kingsford or Clorox just being able to dominate the market that way?
Well, when it comes to charcoal, I'm a little bit back to old school. I want to buy a charcoal that says to me it's 100% natural, depending on what type of wood it is. I would love to know what type of wood it is. So you can buy some charcoals that are made from 100% mesquite or 100% maple or 50% maple blended with 50% oak, or 50% oak blended with 50% hickory. So I want to know what's in there. I prefer not to have any fuel added to it. As convenient as it is and as wonderful as it is to use, I taste it, and that's all I taste. And my grill ends up tasting it, and then everything else I cook on it tastes like fuel, and that's a personal choice. And so I opt to stay away from the convenience factor of it, and I like to move into the factor of the real deal. I want to smoke over lump, and I prefer lump charcoal over briquette charcoal, because briquette charcoal just looks like it's been processed one step further, and it's just not as natural. And I want that organic feeling. Whether I'd be right or wrong, it's just a personal choice that I make, and I think that everybody that's going to grill or they're going to smoke, and the more advanced they get in this, they're looking for definitions in flavor, and fuels like lighter fluid or charcoals that have been already infused with fuel, that overpowers the flavor of the wood, and that's what you end up tasting. And when you're competing for a prize money, you want the best, and the best is go old school, man.
You got it.
I hope that answers your question.
Oh, absolutely it does. Ted Reeder, a wealth of information, a multiple-time author, an accomplished professional chef, entrepreneur, world record holder, and barbecue and grilling expert, and my friend, which counts more than anything else. Teddy, always appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Greg, and happy 4th of July to everybody out there. May it be absolutely delicious, and we'll chat with you soon.
You got it. There he is. Teddy, bringing it strong, as always. I mean, this guy is the best. When can Ted Reeder come in studio and be a guest? Is that possible? Ted, get on the train. I'm sending, Scotty Walton, get the G5 ready down in Columbus. We're sending it out to Ontario. Is he from Ontario? We're sending it out to Canada to get Ted Reeder, for crying out loud. He needs to come sit in on the show. Talk to that guy for 3 hours, I swear to God. All right, let's get out a little bit early. We got a giveaway coming up right out of the break. Then we got Candy Weaver on deck. All right, well, I'm not doing that read anymore. Let me talk to you for a few minutes about JP Custom Smoke. Folks, you are literally missing out on perfect scores and grand championships if you aren't getting this stuff. Just ask John and Tina Patty. A couple weeks ago, they walked off with the Reserve Grand Championship in Fredonia, Kansas. Absolutely. How about Whiskey Pit Barbecue grabbing a Reserve Grand Championship in Iowa a couple of weeks ago as well? Just to name a few. Look, it's painfully obvious, guys, that you are the ones who will benefit the most from these rubs. John has some of the most sought-after rubs on the market today, and it's about time you start enjoying the rewards as well. Here are the flavors that you have to choose from. JP's Sweet Heat Rub, JP's Custom Blend for pork, and brand new to the market, the JP Custom Smoke Beef Rub. All of these rubs are being used by a number of top teams in the industry, and man, are they reaping the rewards. Perfect scores, grand championships, reserves. You don't want a reserve? You don't want a grand? Don't buy it. It's fine. Can't wait to get your hands on it? I understand. Hit up JP, like Paul, jpcustomsmoke.com. Get yourself some. And if you don't compete like me, this will have all the neighbors wondering how your barbecue far outshines the rest of the D-bags in the neighborhood. In basic terms, dudes, men want to be like you. The women want to get with you. Yeah. You know, I've been talking about JP Custom Smoke over the last few weeks, heading into this England. And as I said last week, good news, bad news. The good news for you, England, is it's going to be there. The bad news is it's already sold out. Paul Valentine at BBQ Rub and Sauce Company is already out of the JP Custom Smoke Rubs, which has to show you how popular this stuff is, right? Best news ever, folks, right here in the great U.S. of A. You can get it now by going to jpcustomsmoke.com. Don't wait. You wait, you could be out. John just told me selling like hotcakes, mostly because of this show. JP Custom Smoke currently ranked, well, damn it. Now I got to check. I got some time, don't worry. Guess where I'm going to go? bbqrace.com. Let me give you an updated where they are. JP Custom. There they are, JP Custom Smoke. 2013, currently ranked 23rd overall in the KCBS. They have 2 Reserve Grands, 2 Grand Championships. They've competed 11 times. And let me see, where are we at here? Give me the breakdown. 11 times, right. And top 100 badges in pork and beef and chicken. Forget about it. jpcustomsmoke.com will be back right after this with a prize.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
All right, I want to try this real quick. I've put away this microphone, and now I'm using this one right here. I'm just checking for sound level. I might sound a little different. I just want to make sure that I sound all right. Your chance to win a $10 gift certificate from thebbqsuperstore.com, which, by the way, finished Reserve Grand Championship this past weekend at the Sam's Club in Traverse City, Michigan. John Dawson, you give me a shout-out on how I'm sounding right here on the new Shure Lav mic. So all you need to do is send me a email, and in the subject line, hit Audio Fidelity. Audio Fidelity. For your chance to win a $10 gift certificate to thebbqsuperstore.com. Good luck.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Waste Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots. We don't need a radio. Bring a jukebox for my outlaws. Bring me 3 shots.
All right, we are back, and we do have a winner. That would be Don Hopkins. Don, you do not need to send me anything. I will forward your email address to thebbqsuperstore.com. You're a winner, Don. Congratulations. All right, let me get my next guest going. A little behind the times here, ladies and gentlemen. I got to level up on something that doesn't even have a level up. Are you kidding me? All right, my next guest tonight is the owner of the most preferred pellet in both the backyard and on the barbecue competition circuit. She's a certified barbecue judge, the current KCBS president. Let's welcome back to the show, friend of the show, I'm happy to say, Candy Weaver joining me. Candy, how are you?
Hi, Greg. I'm good.
Good. I'm always appreciate the time that you make for the show here tonight. Let me ask you something before we get into the KCBS stuff tonight that we wanted to talk about, Candy. How about what's new, what's good over at Barbecuers Delight?
Well, one thing's good. We're making it as fast as we can, folks, and that's a good thing. So. Orders have been a little slow here in the past, but everything's back to normal. And but I think it's the blooming of all the pellet-fired grills out there that the world has discovered our product, and it's a wonderful thing.
Are you surprised? Let's say 4 or 5 years ago, you had the Traegers, obviously you had the Fast Eddies, you had a few other ones kind of making the meander into the market, but fast forward to where we are here in 2013. I mean, you have, I could probably list off 7, 8, 9 right off the top of my head. Are you surprised to see how popular, regardless of manufacturer, how popular the pellet-style cookers are at this point?
No, I'm really not. I've been saying this for about the last for about at least 6 years, and of course the bloom started with the dancing group out of Canada getting in with the Louisiana grills and the country cookers, and Traeger's patent expired about 3 years ago. So up until that point in time, Traeger had the patent on pellet-fired cooking. And but they don't anymore, and the world has discovered it, and it's so much easier to use, and it's a lot less intimidating than gas.
Do you think that it's fair for people to say if you have a pellet-fired cooker, you somehow aren't getting the truest version of barbecue, or you are cheating or taking a shortcut in some way?
Sure. But, that's part of modern conveniences. I think I could say the same thing to anybody that uses a Stoker or a Guru or any of those devices that control temperature via air control. Now, I've got to say, I think the one thing that I think is pretty close to cheating is when you have a probe that goes into the meat, and when the meat reaches a certain temperature, the cooker automatically goes down into a hold mode. That's pretty lazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Candy Weaver joining us here on the show. Current KCBS president, some websites if you want to check it out here while we're talking. KCBS.us. And then, of course, the Barbecuers Delight website, bbqrsdelight.com. So let me ask you this, Candy. Last week I was forwarded an email just before I went on air, and it was somebody saying that KCBS has this new thing out, and it was basically like an email blast that said KCBS Score. Tell me about KCBS Score, the initiative, and kind of what you hope it accomplishes.
KCBS Score will replace, it's a scoring system, the scoring software that contest reps use to produce the score sheets for a contest. The reps enter the judges' scores from each of the score sheets, and it tabulates the results and does the weighting based on appearance, taste, and tenderness, and produces the scores and who wins and who doesn't in any contest and where you place. KCBS Score is a true Windows program. The current software that we use to score is called BQ Win. I don't know why. And it's DOS based, and it kind of evolved out of an older DOS system.
Yeah.
And this has been in development for probably close to 2 years, actually.
To whose?
Do what?
It's
the KCBS Score has been in the works for 2 years.
So, taking it from where it was initially 2 years ago, well, there's a lot of changes or tweaks that you needed to make it right before you decided to send that blast out and let everybody know this was going to happen, or did it just happen to take that long to get all the pieces together?
It's taken that long to get all the pieces together. Honestly, I was really hoping that it would come out at the beginning of the year. We weren't ready. There were issues that we wanted to get resolved inside the program. And, of course, you've got to get all the reps and everyone trained to be able to use it. Thank goodness this isn't a huge leap. It does a lot of things a whole lot easier. It populates fields. For example, reps enter judge number one time, and then it goes through the other categories. It's very important for CBJs that once they take a seat at a table, that they know what their table number is and what their seat is, 1 through 6. And they will put that on each card, and each of their scorecards. And with that said, when I got on the board, one of the first things we wanted to start doing was tracking judges. And while this will not immediately go into effect, we'll have the ability that we can really grow this program where we really had hit the wall with BQ Win, where there was not a whole lot of functionality that could be added into it. This is open architecture. There's a lot we can do with building this to serve the needs of KCBS going forward. One major change that happens when the new scoring system is implemented, and this will be decided, I expect, at the next board meeting, which is next Wednesday. But last year we made the decision to slightly change the weighting of appearance and taste. And because taste was always an exact double in the weighting of appearance, which led to false ties. And by changing the weighting just a little bit on the appearance side and increasing it to the taste side, that should avoid a lot more ties, which is a good thing because I always lose the tiebreaker.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
So people were looking at it, and then I guess I don't understand where the false ties are coming from. Are they looking at it and saying, hey, it looks good and it's going to taste good? They're already making up their mind on how good it's going to taste?
Well, the false tying comes into place it has to do with the way the judges' scores are tabulated. And, currently I don't know right off the top of my head, I don't know the exact percentages. Taste is the most important, and it's weighted the heaviest in the score. So if a cook receives all 9s in taste, they're going to do pretty good with that entry. After that is tenderness is the next highest weight. Appearance really matters the least. It's in the scores. I could look the score sheet, the weighting, but I don't have it in front of me. And because of taste being exact double in weighting from appearance, somehow or another, when you applied the weighting factor to the team scores, even dropping the lowest judges, you end up with ties. And it's kind of the same thing that over time we've gone to a 4 or 3 digit scoring system where it's really probably pretty unusual for anything below a 6 to be on the scorecard anymore. And of course, cooks say that's because they're cooking better.
Of course. Candy Weaver joining us here on the show. One of the things that I was reading in that mailer was the fact that teams are going to have their team number available for the reps or for the people that are signing them up for those sheets. Everybody needs to have their team number.
Not team number.
Not team number.
Chief
Cook's number.
Cook member number.
The what?
The Chief Cook's member number.
Chief Cook member number.
Yes.
All right. So if you don't take a picture of it on your cell phone, you don't have it committed to memory, you don't put it down on a piece of paper and stick it in your pocket and take it, what happens if you don't know the number and you show up?
Well, you don't necessarily get points for Team of the Year. It's all for Team of the Year, Greg.
Yeah.
Any non-member can cook a KCBS contest. But to get points for Team of the Year, you have to be a member of KCBS.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what's part? Is that the new thing with this?
No, it's always been that way.
You've always had to be a member of KCBS to get Team of the Year?
Yeah.
See?
As far as I know.
I'm learning something. Well, you would know better than me. I'm learning something new today. I knew you didn't have to be a member to compete in KCBS events, but I didn't think one was tied directly into the other as far as Team of the Year is concerned.
Well, don't you think it should be?
I'm not the right guy to ask, but it would make sense to be, I guess, to be Team of the Year. But do you have any idea? I'm asking you a question you probably don't have data on, but do you have any idea how many people that are showing up at contests aren't KCBS members that are taking part?
That I don't know.
Would you fathom a guess?
Goes into effect, and we have some tracking down the road.
Would you fathom a guess?
I haven't a clue.
All right.
Maybe half. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 50-50. That's a number that I would like to see, but that would be hard to track, I suppose.
Actually, it really won't once we get KCBS score in place.
You're correct, right? Because everybody wants the Team of the Year points if they're going to be chasing after that, right?
But this doesn't change because whether a team is a member or not, your results are always posted.
Well, yeah, correct. But, who cares about if your results are posted? If you're going to be chasing Team of the Year points, you want to make sure that you're getting those points properly apportioned to the proper teams that are, making those good scores and winning and doing whatever. We're talking with Candy Weaver from KCBS, the current president. So how – and it sounds like I was kind of outlining some questions here to ask, and maybe this one doesn't really make sense anymore now that we've talked a little about it more in-depthly, but does this compare at all to, a website like a barbecuerace.com that is constantly, through their software is able to get contest results and post trends and who finishes where and current KCBS Team of the Year and all that stuff? Is it somewhat similar? This is obviously results that are going to be posted on KCBS website. Is this to divert traffic from that, or does it not even compete with that at all?
I don't think it. I think there's a place for Barbecue Race. I think there's a place for Scorecard. I think there's a place for all of those, and this will really not do this. This is the scoring software. This is the heart of the competition.
All right, so any big projects that the KCBS is looking to unveil over the next, few 3-4 months that you might be able to tell us about?
We've got some big things in the works. We have an incredibly active board. I've had meetings the last 2 nights, and last week we had 2 nights. There were 2 nights of meetings, and we have a very active strategic planning committee that we're looking for future growth. This evening there was a meeting. We talked about a survey that'll go out to the members in the very near future. I hope that we'll revisit the issue of regional representation and see what the members want us to do. And we're doing our very best to be very responsive to our membership and keep KCBS growing and growing strong.
Candy Weaver is the owner of Barbecuers Delight Wood Pellets and the current KCBS president. Candy, hope you have a great 4th, and always appreciate you making time for the show. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Next apple you got some.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Candy Weaver. bbqrsdelight.com, also kcbs.us. You have to be a member of KCBS to win KCBS Team of the Year. Brilliant. Coming up on the break, your chance to win from Jim Elser, a pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q, a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q juice pork injection. Be ready for that. All right, gang, if you're like me, you're always trying to think of ways to step up the barbecue and grilling game. No better or easier way to do that than by adding a little Butcher barbecue to your arsenal. The injections, yes. Pork, the beef, the prime injection. All available for sale right now. ButcherBBQ.com. Now, maybe you're looking for that rub or sauce. Motherload has been hit here as well. You got the steak and the brisket rub, the honey rub, premium rub. Use premium rub, especially if you inject with Butchers. It's formulated to work with the injection, a perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. And now, the brand new injection, Bird Booster. And different flavors from what I understand as well. You want to inject your chicken, you want to have 3 times more moisture in your chicken than you would get just from brining it. How does 7% versus 21% sound? Yeah, beat it 7%. I want 21. Bird Booster will give that to you. Of course, you have the sweet barbecue sauce as well. We all know I'm as picky as it gets when it comes to barbecue sauce. But I love Butcher's Barbecue Sweet Barbecue Sauce. Buy 6 because it's going to go fast. Your women folk will eat it. Your men folk will eat it. Your neighbors will eat it. Everybody's going to eat it. And look, if you have been jammed up from some other commercial injection, the scores started to tumble. Look, we all think every once in a while the grass is a little bit greener. So you go over on the other side of the road, you realize one of the worst mistakes ever. So what's happened before? Well, you've spent $30, $40, $50 on some other commercial injection. It sucks. You've had to throw it out. You've had to listen to your wife bitch and moan about how you could have taken her out on the town instead of wasting your money on that injection. You've been screwed in the past, but not now. You go to butcherbbq.com, you go to Trade In at the top right of the navigation, and then you print off the label, send it to Dave. He will weigh it. So if you send in 4 pounds, he'll bring back 4 pounds to you of the pork, the beef, or the prime injection. Doesn't get any better than that. Not only is he looking to satisfy his own customers, he's looking to satisfy his competition's customers as well. And he's the only person out there doing it. It's the trade-in program right now. ButcherBBQ.com. The Bird Booster, the pork injection, the beef injection, the prime injection, the rubs, the sauces. Literally, it's a one-stop shop. Plus, he's got all the barbecue pitmaster packs available. You saw what he used on the show. You want it. He's got all those available. Marketing genius Dave Boskin is basically what it is, folks. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. We're right back with a giveaway. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Now, the time of the show when we give stuff away. Gonna give it away for free at no cost. So get ready to send that email right now.
All right. I've gone back to this mic again, as you can tell. There's a lot of bass still. I need the feedback. I've reduced it a lot. So it should sound a little better. It might sound a little throaty because, it's right here by my throat. Let me sounds a little bit better, at least. Tolerable. I'm going to use this when I go back into the bar for cocktail time at a different show. All right, if you want to win from Jim Elser, pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q, 1 bottle of Sweet Smoke Q juice, pork, Q juice, jeez. 1 bottle of Sweet Smoke Q juice, pork injection, sweet, smoke, and then the letter Q.com. Send me an email in the subject line, KCBS President Candy Weaver. Has to be spelled correctly. in the subject line, KCBS President Candy Weaver, for your chance to win Sweet Smoke Q Juice. Another chance to win the second hour for that as well. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right. 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Look, in all fairness, the sound quality is a little bit different because this mic, that mic is $500. And this mic is, more for, off. It's not going to have the same sound. It's not going to have the same sound as this. It's not going to have the same sound as this, right? But it's functional. If I was out walking around the town, you'd be able to hear me. But I'm not walking around the town. I'm right here with you. Thanks to Candy Weaver for joining me last segment. Also, thanks to Ted Reader, tedreader.com, Candy Weaver's website. bbqrsdelight.com. What? ICBM president. Elma Rose. Put down the drink, buddy. The winner right here is Kent Wheelis. Kent, send me your shipping information. And put Sweet Smoke Q in the subject line so I can make sure that I get that over to Jim, and he will send you the Sweet Smoke Q. Somebody said it was great. Somebody's already got it. Let me go back up through. Who was that? Was that Corey Schroeder? The chat has gone too quickly. I've lost it. Corey, did you have that? Rave reviews. Remember, Jim said you could, when you mix it, you could drink it. Speaking of drinks, near the top of the hour, I'm going to go refresh mine. Refresh yours. Why not? And then I'll join you back here towards the top of the hour. Plenty to get to. No. That's wrong. Oh. I know what the problem is. I get too yappy is what it is. Anyway, now I've forgotten what I'm going to say. That's all right. Kent Wheelis is going to win. Awesome stuff, Corey says. All right, Kent, you should be excited. Triple excited. Lots more to come here in the second hour. Big competition talk from two of the best out there doing it right now. 2 giveaways, more Sweet Smoke Q, and we also have some Purple Pork Master barbecue sauce. I'm going to refuel. You refuel. I'll see you back towards the top of the hour. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how you going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, folks, just like that, we're in the second hour. Coming back in from the bar. Sorry. Kids playing with the abandoned kitty. I have never been cat guy by any stretch of the imagination, and guess what? Stray kitty. Sniper. Sniper! No!
Get that big stuff out of here.
If you have... I can't. Let me make sure that I get out of that. Adam says buy a gallon. Buy a gallon of the Sweet Smoke Q juice.
This is Jennifer Palamas.
Hey, Jennifer Palamas is in.
And this is Barbecue Central.
Sorry, Jennifer. Didn't get you up to full speed there. Yeah, so freak. Damn kitty shows up 2 weeks ago. And wouldn't you know it? Right by my house. Meow, meow, meow. Well, there were 3 initially. And 2 evidently took off. Left the little one to fend for itself. And I heard all the girls screaming and yelling in their bedrooms last night. And made camp right underneath our window and started with the meowing. And we tried to catch it last night. And it's all freaked out. It's small. We took it to the... So we ended up catching it today. I caught that thing. Right by the scruff. Cat-like. Pardon the pun. Cat-like. And got a little pet carrier thing for my in-laws. And then... I'm not trash-talking the kitty. And then we took it to a vet and said, hey, does it have mange? Is it carrying rabies? We put its head underneath the tire. And he said, hey, it's like 3, maybe 4 years old. Looks to be in really good health. That's what I said, 3 to 4 weeks old. I did? Okay, 3 to 4 weeks old. Sorry about that. Looks to be in good health. Malnourished for sure. Very skinny. So there you go. I mean, you got to do what the kids want to do, right? And we've been talking it out. Do you want to give the vet said he would take it. I was like, boom. No, I was like, boom. Oh, cripes. I was like, boom. Take it. Pay you $20. He's like, oh no, but it looks like it's got a good home. And look, I don't like cats. I don't want them in my house. My wife is allergic to cats. My middle daughter was allergic to cats, although she claims she's not. She's right here on the couch looking at me like I'm some kind of weirdo. So, I don't want to... I'm okay, I guess, with outside cat. Outside cat's good. Does anybody have outside cats? I mean, we'll get a little shelter. It'll feed on mice and such. Aside, we'll supplement it with cat food, I guess. But that way it's not like indoors. It can't be indoors, much to the kids' chagrin. It cannot be an indoor cat. It's not going to happen. You can't even see her. She's right off to the side here trying to sell me on, well, when the house is built, we can put it in the basement. Blah, blah, blah. How about we put a kitty house on the roof and stick it up on the roof? Does anybody have an outdoor kitty? Outdoor cats rock. They kill all the snakes at my place. Kent, bringing it strong. All right, Kent. All right, still to come tonight, Matt Dalton from Left Coast Q in about 10 minutes. Mike Wozniak from QOW 30 minutes from now. On the show next week, somebody I've been chasing literally for years, and he will make his first appearance in Barbecue Central Radio Show. Patrick Martin from Martin's Barbecue. Also... not new author, but new book author. No, I didn't say that right either. Multiple-time author, pitmaster of Who Are Those Guys? George Hensler has a new book. So we will talk to him about that. It's out now. I got an advanced copy, and as you all know, I love to read, so I've gotten through exactly 0 pages.
Get that big stuff out of here.
He knows. He knows I didn't read it. Man, I'm not a reader. What does that mean? A lot of people still sending in for the pork injection here. We've got a winner. Kent is a winner. We got another chance. We got 2 more chances to win this hour. Relax. Frankie goes to Hollywood. Relax. The Sam's Club Series rolled into Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. I didn't get to this because we had the top hour... third guest last show when we talked about racial tensions and how it relates to Paula Deen. But 2 weeks ago, it rolled into Indianapolis This opened up the local qualifying for the Rockford, Illinois regional that will take place August 3rd. Top 6 teams moving on to that regional final, winning with 689, just short of 690, 1-2 barbecue. Reserve Grand Back Porch Q, 3 Gillies barbecue. Don't sleep on Gillies. Watch them now. Yellow River Barbecue 4th, Billy Ray Barbecue 5th, and Second City Smoke 6th. 20 points, roughly, separating 1 through 6. Of course, this past weekend, Sam's Club rolled into Traverse City, Michigan. This was also a local qualifier for the Rockford, Illinois regional, and winning that, no surprise, we'll have him on in about 30 minutes from now. QOW, Mike Wozniak and Beth Wozniak. Look at this rolling in. I mentioned at the top. Reserve Grand Champion, thebbqsuperstore.com. Losing by 2 points. Close. Friends of the show taking 3rd, Motley Q Crew. Yeah, boom. Pork of the North 4th, Big Brothers Barbecue 5th, and Steel Smokin' Barbecue 6th. So those are 12 teams that are moving on to the deal. Level's down. All right. Shout out to John Dawson for giving me feedback. Boom. Don Wadlow in the house tonight. Don, you did not win. Keep those fat fingers ready. You could win just the next time up. It's just that easy. You win. Don, I have a feeling about you. Don, a new listener to the show. All right, so the Tappecue has arrived. We've talked about the Tappecue. We've had Chris Marks on from Ace of Hearts, and this is what it looks like. This is how it came. This is the unveiling, if you will. Give me a second, because I got to reach up here and grab the actual unit itself. But this is how it came in the box. And then this is what it looks like when the box was opened. And here's what it looked like all unboxed, if you will. So basically what you see is at top left, you have the USB cable, you have a power cord in the middle, and then you have the Tappecue transmitter receiver unit right there. And then the 4 foil packs that you see on the floor are the meat probes. Now, those would look like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. They're all meat probes. It isn't, one is a pit probe, and then the other ones are meat probes. It can be up to 4 meat probes. If you want to check the temperature of your cooker, you're probably going to have to leave 1 out, so 3 meats, let's say. And then you have the Tappecue unit itself. So it's kind of similar to a high-speed internet modem. You have the USB port right there. You have your 4 ports for entrance into the back of the unit, and then power, obviously. And then you have kind of this see-through material, plastics, probably some type of an ABS or a PC ABS. I am a plastics professional. And you plug it in. It's going to have to be outside. That's like the weird thing, right? So when it's outside, I imagine if you're using it, you're going to have to make sure that you keep it under cover, because you have to plug it in. It's going to connect onto your internet Wi-Fi at home. And then once you have it set up, you download the Tappecue app on your iPhone or Android device, and you can go to the store. You can go 3 states over if you want. You always have access to, if you leave one open, for your pit temperature, and then for up to 3 different meats internally. It is not an automatic pit temperature control device. You cannot make temperature adjustments to your pit, but if you just want something that's like a cruise control, then there you go. It's $200, I think. $200, I believe it was. Oh, look at this guy. Al Moreau's got screwed by autocorrect. Al. No. Feel for you, brother. Autocorrect. Damn it. Get you every time. Put it up on autocorrect.com. You probably win a prize there. So I haven't used the Tappecue yet. I just got it. Set it up. Had a little issue getting the Wi-Fi connected. But now we're up and rolling, so I'm looking forward to using it hopefully not only Thursday, but maybe even Sunday as well. Don't forget, for me, on weekends, softball. No cooking time this summer. travel softball if you need it. All right, gang, let me talk to you quickly about Tasty Licks and Barbecue Supply. What do you want? Look at this kid. Come over here. Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply. Girls are going to bed here. Hold on. Wait, let me hold on just for 1 second. Good night. Maddie. Good night. All right. There we go. All the girls going to bed. I've talked with Fred a number of times throughout the last couple of weeks, and he's telling me pretty much some of the same things, right? Kamado Joe cookers, Meadow Creek cookers, spices, sauces, and accessories. Much of these items in stock, ready to ship to you directly. Have you been looking for Oak Ridge brines and rubs? They're here. How about Plowboys rubs and sauces? Yes. How about Smoke on Wheels products? Yes. They have them all. Also, Tasty Licks now carrying Harry Sue's new chicken rub. This is the same rub that garnered him 8 grand championships last year, as well as being KCBS Team of the Year when it comes to chicken. And he's got big green egg items that you can't get anywhere else for your big green egg. Parts, specialty items, things that are made just for him, believe it or not. Now, if you're looking for injections, Tasty Licks carries all the heavy hitters: Butcher's Barbecue, Cosmos Q, every type of barbecue guru, and their associated accessories. Tasty Licks, a Green Mountain Grill pellet dealer. And, as Fred says right here on this show when he's on, they provide a lot of classes to the public as well. Fred teaches a lot of them, but he's also bringing in top pit masters from across the country as well to do those competition cooking classes. So teams, if you're looking for a place to get all your stuff, this is the place you want to go. TastyLicksBBQ.com. Pans of different sizes, aluminum trays, gloves, thermometers, turn-in boxes for practice. Make this your one-stop shop. This is TastyLicksBBQ.com. That is the place to go. It's the place to go. So head on over now. Enjoy all the videos that Fred puts up there on his page as well. Plenty of them to look at, giggle and chuckle on, but learn most of all. And don't forget, Tasty Licks manufactures and sells their own line of barbecue sauces and rubs, too. You have to try those. When you order, drop Fred a line that you heard about them here on this show. Let him know you appreciate his support of the show. You're going to support him as well. TastyLicksBBQ.com. And we're back with Mr. Left Coast Q, Matt Dalton, right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, don't forget, coming up in about 20 minutes from now, Mike Wozniak from QOwl will be joining us. But my first guest in the second hour, currently on a 3-contest win streak. They have 5 overall grand championships already this season. They are currently ranked 5th overall KCBS Team of the Year points race, 6th overall in the chicken category. Let's head on over to the proverbial hotlines and welcome back Pitmaster of Left Coast Q, Matt Dalton, joining me here on the show. Matty, how are you, bud?
Pretty good. How you doing, Greg?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Matt. Appreciate you asking. Got to fix my graphics here. Everybody's doing Skype audio only, so I got to make sure we got the right pictures up for the right people. So, look, Matt, before we get into the competitions and whatnot, for the folks who maybe aren't as familiar with you and the team, a little background about you and when you decided to get into this barbecue competition scene.
We started 2010 in May. Bakersfield, we took a reserve grant there. Are you getting a little bit of feedback, Greg?
I'm not, but let me, I'll dump you. I'll call you right back. It should be just fine.
Okay.
All right. Dumping Matt. And then we're going to call Matt right back. I could tell he was fighting with himself there. He's like, hello. What? Automatic voice message system. Guy's probably in the low-lying regions of the West Coast. Yeah, audio was good on my end too, but sometimes when you're the guest on the phone, you can, depending on how Skype connects and whatever, it could be a nightmare. All right, Matt, how's that? A little bit better for you?
that better?
I didn't have the echo. You had it on your end. So if it's better for you, it's better for me.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's a lot better.
All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes Skype doesn't connect properly and blah, blah, blah. So go ahead.
We started out in May of 2010, and we ended up taking the Rookie Team of the Year here in California, and we ended up with a stack of reserve grands up until last year when I was on the show. That was our first grand. Since then, we ended up with a few more.
Yeah, I guess.
We had two back-to-back in May, and they were one was in Nevada and one was in Long Beach, and then we've been on a three-win win streak. Fillmore, Pechanga, and now Santa Clara, which is Northern California. It's a really far drive for us, about 9.5 hours with traffic. So that's about it. My team is consisted of Mo Lyons, a good friend of mine, James Miranda, and my son Matthew Dalton.
You got your son doing pit stuff with you?
Oh yeah. Actually, he just got a job, so he's he had to miss the last one, which he was bummed. I called him right away, and, So
Matt Dalton joining us.
After we won the last one.
Matt Dalton joining us here on the show. Left Coast Q is his team. If you want to check out the website here while we're talking, Left Coast and then the letter Q.com is the website. I mean, did you just get a hair up your ass and say, hey, I got to get into this competition scene? Did you and your buddies talk about it? I mean, like, what's the precipitating event that gets you into this?
Well, I had been cooking since I was about 15 in the backyard. And, most people, when you talk about California barbecue or you throw that out, especially out here, probably 90% of the people think it's throwing hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill in the backyard. I started getting in serious smoking maybe 2008, 2009 and playing around with stuff and, basically over smoking and playing around. And Pitmasters happened and we were watching that and we just had a kind of a wild hair. We went to the class, Myron's class, and then 3 weeks later we went and picked up a pit from him. And we practiced for 8 weeks in a row. And then we went to Bakersfield and we took reserve grand the first time out. But, where we are today is basically a culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of networking friends and just the passion that lies behind it. Without that, you just would get really old, I would imagine, to some people, especially if you don't do well. It's not an easy game and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
We've been lucky to hit those flavors right. I've never judged. No one on my team has ever judged. I've taken the class, but I just basically figured that out on my own. A lot of research, listening to a lot of good people in the industry. Just little nuggets you can pick up have paid off.
So are you running with the same guys each and every weekend, or does it kind of alternate in and out?
Pretty much. I mean, down here in Southern California, we're fairly close to Nevada and Arizona. So, I mean, we do contests in Arizona and Nevada more often than we go to Northern California. We just, that last contest in Santa Clara was our first time cooking up there since 2011. So we like to be able to cook in other states too and do well in those states. To diversify, get farther out. That's part of what was behind the Left Coast name, is to, be identified with California when we went elsewhere.
Matt Dalton joining us here on the show, Pitmaster of Left Coast Q. Matt, there's a lot of teams with just one guy doing the whole deal. There are a lot of husband and wife teams that are out there. Like yours, you have more than two members. How do you manage that team dynamic and stay on track at each contest?
We've done 50 plus comps now, so it's pretty much, it's a routine, Greg. It's almost like, and I don't want to say it's like work, but it really is. I mean, when we pull up there, we have an agenda, and that's to try to win the contest. If we can get there early, we do. Just all the little things that we can put together as a team. I'm making the calls on all the flavors and everything, but everyone else is in there overseeing. When we're building boxes, we're all standing right there, just like a couple of weeks ago. we ended up taking first in ribs, and the box was pretty ugly. But my son was like, "Slow down, Dad, touch them all." I cut up 6 racks, and I put them in the box, and I still thought they were crap, but lo and behold, they were first place. So it just goes to show you, appearance, that's what has happened to us, I think, this year, where is all these little tiny decisions and those little tiny tweaks and turns that we've made have turned reserves into grands.
So let me ask you the obvious question here, Matt. Would you be able to do a contest on your own, and how do you think you would do if faced with that?
I would be fine. I mean, it's it would just be more of me doing all the little things, cleaning up, But as far as cooking the meat, I could do it, no problem.
All right, so this past weekend, you notched your 3rd win in a row in as many contests in Santa Clara. As you mentioned before, you also won at Temecula and Fillmore 2 weeks prior. If I go through the 2013 results, you have been pretty consistent, holding 1 or 2 of the 11 that you've done so far off to the side. Is there 1 or 2 things that you can point at to this stage of the game that's really getting you in that position to win each and every week?
I think it's a lot of things. It's, like I said, all the little tweaks, knowing when to change. And I'm not talking big change here, just talking little adjustments, a rub here or there. We have a lot of rubs in our game. Might be changing one of those out. And really, Greg, it's coming down to cooking your meat perfectly. The flavors out here, which are probably pretty much the same across the country now because of the internet, classes, all of that, commercial rubs, everything. It's kind of vanillized in a way, but you have to make that meat perfectly cooked, and it has to have the pop, and it has to be basically, in my opinion, I'm trying to put in front of those judges undeniably great barbecue. No matter if they're 15 to 80, when they eat it, they go, "Well, that's really good," and that's what we try to do.
When you mention the word pop, can you quantify that into anything more specific than pop? Is it flavor on the tongue? Is it appearance? Is how it's set in the box? What does pop mean exactly?
I think it's all of it. Well, you want it to pop into the eye. When they open that box, of course, you eat with your eyes first, no matter what anyone says. If it looks good, if they give it a 9 off the bat, they're going to expect that when they eat it. The pop, it's basically a balanced marriage is what I'm trying to do. Is salty, smoky, sweet, savory, all of it, all in one, and a slight back kick.
Matt Dalton joining me here on the show, Left Coast, and then the letter Q. LeftCoastQ.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. What are you cooking on? Why did you choose those cookers?
We really like the Jack's Old South as far as the water content went. We were fascinated with that.
Now, hold on one second. Let me interrupt just for 1 second. I'm wildly fascinated with not necessarily the Jack's Old South cooker because, quite frankly, you're like the only one that I know that actually uses those. Well, aside from Myron. But, you hear it all the time, especially with these Weber Smoky Mountain-style cookers, is there is a water pan. Now, a lot of people will change out water and go to sand because they're lazy or whatever the case may be, or they want to get up in the middle of the night and refresh the water because eventually it'll evaporate off. But there's constant talk about how that water pan lends to a humid environment or that it's getting extra moisture into the meat. Matt, between you and me, it's the biggest bunch of bullshit I have ever heard in my life. Unless that water is boiling. And typically, and I don't know about Jack's Old South cookers, and you're going to be able to speak to this, and this is why I'm asking you this really long-ended question. In the Weber Smoky Mountain, you do not get it to boil. You can put wine in there. You can put onions in there. It is doing nothing except you're wasting money, and it's a heat sink. Does it differ with the Jack's Old South smoker?
It's very much different, Greg. The firebox that we got with it, and and this is not a knock on mine or anything. It's not the best. This is a very old one. It's a whole hog cooker that was made by Maxey, who used to build them before the guy that's building them now. It is boiling water almost the whole time. We probably burn through almost 50 gallons of water per cook through that thing.
Really?
Yes, but the firebox is 4 feet long, and I probably burn now. We just built a new firebox, which has helped color and fuel consumption this year. I raised it up about another inch to get more airflow underneath, and boom, it's better color, less fuel. But I've got a raging fire under there. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's almost like when I learned to weld with a stick welder, and I went to a MIG gun, it was much easier to lay the bead. So I feel like I could just step right over to another cooker because there's so many variables with that cooker. It's like a constant battle almost, with any stick burner to a certain point. But it works good for us, and it's won us, a lot. So, we talked about change earlier in the year, talking about going to maybe a gravity feed or the backwoods. Got a lot of ideas, a lot of people. My buddy Sterling says, well, you can borrow whatever you need. I haven't tried that out. I'm not going to do it now mid-season. Maybe off-season we'll give a couple other cookers a try. But, right now, and actually you're right with the moisture content on there. With ribs, I really like it. Brisket, not so much. I've been running our brisket on a Mac pellet cooker, so just for the bark factor.
Look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You've only won 3 in a row, right?
Exactly.
Jeez, Pete.
I'm sure there's people out there going, God, when we cooked the King of the Smoker last year, and we're down there with that old pig with all these jambos, it was pretty funny.
Absolutely.
But we're making it work. So,
Matt Dalton joining me here on the show. Matt, we're starting to see more and more West Coast teams rise through the ranks of KCBS. A few years ago, Cali teams might not have been given the respect that they deserve, but now it's almost like you guys are out there commanding it. Do you think that the West Coast teams don't get their just due from other regions of the country, or is it undeniable at this point?
Well, no, I think no. I think California will forever be kind of the Rodney Dangerfield of barbecue, so to speak. And so, excuse me, some of that lies back to, in my opinion, we don't have a barbecue heritage or history here. Now, you could say Santa Maria barbecue is, quote, barbecue. Not really. It's live fire cooking. It's grilling. It's not slow. We don't have that long history here. Anything as far as, especially in the comp world that's going on here, has been brought from somewhere else. And Sterling Ball winning the American Royal last year, and this is not to swing from his nuts here, but I'm sure it shocked a lot of people that a team from California walked away with the Royal. I mean, if I was from the Midwest, I would have been shocked, but I think things have changed, like I said, a lot of classes and internet, all the rubs that are out there people are using. I mean, a lot of the flavors here, I'm sure, are what's going on other areas of the country as well.
So as a team who has now seen some good success, especially as of late, what are some things that you used to do for contests that you wouldn't do, no way, no how, at this stage of the game?
Getting really hammered the night before.
Why did I know that was going to come out? I knew it. That's like when I hear. One of the most fascinating things is you hear the teams are really starting to garner a lot of success, and I say, hey, when you were doing it 3 or 4 years ago, what were you doing that you aren't doing now? Inevitably, it's like, hey, we're just not going out and getting hammered like we used to on a Friday night. We're treating it, as you said a little bit earlier, it's almost like a job now. So you're showing up, you're staying sober, and you're making sure that you're hitting your marks on Saturday.
Right. And I think, too, a lot of it, too, is we've slowed down. You know, we don't rush. You know, everything has its time, and we just try to hit our marks, you know. If something goes wrong, it's being able to overcome that. You know, not get flustered in the heat of the moment, you know. It's just barbecue. Slow down, you know, and put the best product in the box. I mean, really, really paying attention to that, I think, is what's brought us a lot of success this year, for sure. No doubt about it.
So let me ask you this last question here before I let you go tonight, Matt. And I had Tim Grant from True Bud Barbecue on a couple weeks ago, and he had made kind of this revelation statement that he was seeing a trend that teams were purposely going away from injecting the big meats altogether. Something that you're seeing, something that you're hearing about at all, or not at all?
I've heard of it. I know a few people that are kind of going away from that maybe are trying to go back to the simpler, you know, less rub, you know, no injection. I don't really know anyone that's doing that on pork. Beef, yeah. Me, I'm still doing it because it works for us. I believe it drives. There's nothing else will drive the flavor deep into the meat like injecting will. You know, brining, you know, whatever you want to do, it's just not going to do it. Nothing's going to push that flavor in there. And in my opinion, if you're cooking commodity pork, it's pretty bland to begin with. And we don't have an overpowering injection, but it enhances the flavor that's there. And lately, when I've pulled it, it's been very juicy. So definitely not going away from doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Matt Dalton is the pit master of Left Coast Q. They are currently 5th overall in the KCBS Team of the Year race.
Hey, Greg, we're 9th. I just want to correct that. I don't know. You might have looked at barbecue race.
Yeah, I did.
Something's a little screwy on there. We're actually 9th. I don't want to.
Hey. You know what?
Pump it up.
Bullshit. I read it on the internet. It is true. You are 5th place. They can kiss my ass. All right, you're 9th place. If you want to be 9th, you be 9th. You're the man. But I appreciate the time tonight,
honest,
and
just being honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming on tonight. And we'll talk to you again soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. It was good talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. There he is, Matt Dalton, Left Coast Q, leftcoastq.com. How in the goddamn? After I give a love to barbecue race, they're going to send me looking like the fool.
Big stuff out of here.
Tell you, somebody's going to get a call tonight, and their name rhymes with Neath Mall.
Big stuff out of here.
Your chance to win Purple Pork Masters barbecue sauce right after this. Folks, you know what time it is. You want a watch, you want a ring, you want a gold necklace, diamond earrings, you know, you name it. My guy, Steven DeFranco, has it. And for I'm messing around with GD camera all damn night. I run the fine line. I don't want too much top, but, you know, I'm like right here at the top head. Plus no hair. Look, go to StevenDeFranco.com, StevenDeFranco.com, and peruse the inventory, first and foremost. Once you have everything set, you give them a call, 440-943-2700, 440-943-2700. And then he will help you get you outfitted with exactly what you need. And best of all, it's free shipping, it's free engraving, it's free gift wrapping, all that great stuff. And he'll make sure that he's asking you the right questions. You know, nothing worse than just going in and being sold on something you don't need. If you're looking to hit a certain theme, a certain emotion, maybe it's an anniversary, maybe it's a date, whatever the case may be, Steve is going to hook you up, give you the right advice and the fair price that you need. So why not give it a call? 440-943-2700. Ask for Steve when you call. Get on the phone, and when Steve answers, say, hey, I'm a Centralite. I listen to the show every Tuesday. He says I should call in. I need to ask for you. I'm a barbecue brother or sister. Watch the numbers fall off. Watch the free shipping. If you get a watch, you get the free year of warranty, all that great stuff. That's only brought to you by the only barbecue jeweler to the stars, Steven DeFranco. Appreciating his sponsorship of the show, StephenDeFranco.com or 440-943-2700. Your chance to win Purple Pork Masters barbecue sauce coming up right after this. Stick around.
Time on the show when we give stuff away for no money. That's why it's free of charge. You can win stuff and I'll give it away for free.
All right, so here we go again. I've moved the mic all the way back up here. Does that sound any better? Does it sound any better? Now I've jacked up the bass quite a bit. Just for fun. Why not? So you let me know. You saw it clearly. Yeah, I know. John, I'm not even going to read that email. I don't like the way that sounds. It's a little too bassy for me. All right, so I've dialed it back. Anyway, your chance to win Purple Pork Masters barbecue sauce. It took second place in Memphis in May 2010, and the team was 2012 National Pork Champion based upon the DC Barbecue Battle. Thanks to Central 8 Don G for this item. Visit purpleporkmasters.com for more information, or to grab your own right now, Purple Pork Masters. In the subject line, Left Coast Q. Spell it right, and you can win. Mike Wozniak coming up right after this.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Ooh. Alan Frankel fell for it. Almost. Not right. That is incorrect. You got to spell it right. Left Coast Q. Google it. As they say in France, Google it. They don't say that in France. All right, helping me close out the show tonight, well-known and highly successful pitmaster. They have taken part in 18 events this year. They have won 5 of them. They are leading the ribs category in KCBS right now. They are 5th in chicken, 9th in pork and brisket. That gets them a 9th overall for Team of the Year. In 2010, they were KCBS Team of the Year. Let's welcome back pitmaster of QL, Mike Wozniak, joining me here on the show. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going absolutely fabulous, Mike. I appreciate you making time for the show. Let me go ahead and make sure I got my proper graphics up here tonight for the people that are watching on the video side. So, look, another great weekend for QOW that has passed, Mike. You hit Traverse City, Michigan. You cooked the Sam's Club local qualifier. How was this weekend in a general sense, you know, like anything out of the ordinary that you had to contend with that might make the cook a little bit more difficult?
Oh, I had a really nice brisket, a high-grade one, and sometimes and it was real soft. You could just tell it was going to be a nice brisket. I normally check them about 8:30 in the morning, and they're usually done about 9 to 9:15. When I probed it at 8:30, it was already over temp. So I thought we might be in trouble. And when I sliced it, it was mealy, you know, where you chew on it, and it kind of is dry and kind of, the more you chew on it, the worse it gets. So we thought we were in big trouble. So I juiced it. You know, I took the stuff out of the foil, and we juiced it, and we glazed it, you know, pretty heavily. And we ended up getting 11th. I think that was a gift.
When that happens, when you are, you know, that far in advance of where you're looking to have your finished temperature at, and, you know, when you typically game plan to pull it off, is it really kind of like an emergency room type situation, or have there been other times when you've been able to salvage it and maybe hit the top 5 or better?
Well, you know, if it's just overdone, you know, you get it really hot, you can just throw it on ice and cool it off, and it'll tighten up a little bit. But this had gotten to the point where it was kind of, like I say, mealy, where, you know, you get kind of a dry crumbliness in your mouth. And like I said, it was a high-grade brisket. It still had good flavor and everything. So, I mean, we have been doing pretty well in brisket, you know, and to get 11th, I mean, you know, and I thought it was a bad brisket. I thought, oh my God, we're not going to be in the top 6. You know, we drove all this way up here. And, you know, we know what to do to salvage things. And, you know, like I said, I juiced it the best we could, and I glazed it. And I think, plus we had pretty good burn ends. And I think that helped quite a bit. But, you know, what really saved us, we had huge scores in chicken and pork.
Mike, I'm going to ask you to do your best recollection. What's the worst situation you've ever cooked in?
The worst situation, you mean where I've actually screwed something up?
No, well, it could be both, screwed something up or weather-wise where you're like, man, we're never going to get through this cook. Just the worst situation where you left that week and you're like, man, I never want to do that again.
In 2008, we cooked the Des Plaines, Illinois Winter Burn. It's not a KCBS contest, but it is a professional contest. And you do 4 categories all on Sunday. And it's chicken, ribs, pork loin, and brisket. And up by Chicago in early February, it's pretty cold. We stayed at my wife's sister's house, and when we left, I think it was 5 below zero. And then when we got there, it was still around that temperature, and the wind was blowing, and the wind chill was 30 below. So the first thing we did, we got there 5 in the morning. We lit the cooker up, and it took it 2 hours to get up the temperature. And I tell you what, I don't know if you ever cooked in something that cold. We were cooking out of an Easy Up at the time. It stiffens you up. And we could go inside and get warm, but when we were driving home that evening, we stopped at to get diesel fuel and go to McDonald's and stuff like that. I slid out of we got a tall diesel truck. When I slid out of it, I couldn't jump back in. I was so stiff. I mean, it was almost hilarious me trying to climb back in.
Mike Wozniak joining me here on the show, pitmaster of QWOW. Mike, as far as turn-ins went this past weekend, you win chicken and pork. You go 10 and 11 in ribs and brisket, respectively. Were the chicken and the pork winners in your mind, or was that a little bit of a shock to you?
No, I knew the chicken was really good, and I told my wife Beth, I said, this pork, it was probably the best pork we cooked all year. We tried something different. And I know that sounds kind of silly to try something new at a qualifier like that, but we had been getting beaten up on pork. Last week we got 20th, and it really killed us. We had a second in chicken, and we got 10th in, I think we were 10th in ribs, and we had 8th place brisket, but the 20th place in pork just killed us. And we cook our slicer and our puller differently. Well, the pulled pork has been fabulous, so I thought, well, let's try something. Let's try to cook the slicer just like the puller and just pull it off 10 degrees earlier. And that's what we did, and it was pretty fabulous. So we're going to try to duplicate that. We got 2 contests this weekend. We're doing Whiting, Iowa tomorrow and Thursday, and then we're driving up to St. Charles, Illinois, and doing a Friday, Saturday contest.
Geez, nothing like burning it at both ends, right?
It's been rough. We did Davenport, Iowa, which is Saturday, Sunday, and then we left what would be Wednesday morning to drive up to Traverse City because it's a beautiful place and we wanted to do some touristy stuff. So we got back, late Saturday night, and then we did the turnaround, and we just left this morning. So I had most of the meat prepped ahead of time, and I did some chicken, and we flash froze it. And, I just only had 2 days, and, you can't always get the meat you want, so that's why we went ahead and bought some of it ahead of time and trimmed the ribs and some of the chicken.
Mike Wozniak joining me here on the show. 3 out of the 10 get calls. 3 out of the 10. 3 out of the 4 get calls. You win 2 of those. As a pitmaster, and you knew that, kind of how that brisket was feeling to you, did you think you just tanked it altogether? Did you think that even though it was not the best, you juiced it, like you said, you still might be around that 10th, 11th spot?
No, absolutely not. I know, we've been doing this. I think we're up to 370 contests. We've been doing this for 13 years. I know when we turn in a good product, and I know when we turn in a bad product. I think the most disturbing thing is when you turn in something good and you get hammered. But when you turn in something bad and you get hammered for it, you just, it's your fault. And one judge gave me a 9.66, 9 in presentation and 6.6. And actually, I thought he was probably the closest one. And then, we got some other good scores. I mean, we gave him the best slices we could. Dead center, was the best. And I think the burnt ends were good. So I think, there might have been some good stuff. I can't taste every slice I put in the box. I wish I could. But I can't. But I know on both ends it was a little mealy. So hopefully some of the thicker slices in the center maybe work slightly better. But we were really expecting. We were just hoping that the better meets would drag us just to get sixth place, just to go on. Because, in the Sam's thing, the hardest thing is to get from the round of 750 to the round of 150.
Yeah.
And that local contest is the one that it's, some strange things happen. And we've seen teams that have never won before win. We've seen teams that have never hardly cooked, qualify. So you just never know.
So let me follow up. I mean, it's almost like we had this planned out in advance because you dovetailed nicely into my next question. Is there a potential hazard for teams going into the local event in that, the top six are advancing? So it would be easy to say that you don't have to win to move on because, basically you don't. You have to be in the top six. Is there an opportunity to be too relaxed and miss your marks at that point?
I think there is. And I'll tell you what, the local ones I think are the toughest contest in this respect because you've got a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of teams that maybe cook once or twice a year. You really don't know, and they're local teams. And sometimes local flavors are a lot different than what we do. I mean, there's certain places that we cook and we just get hammered because, and you'll look and you'll see over a bunch of, especially like Louisville, Kentucky or somewhere like that, the locals just seem to have the flavor profile figured out. So when you go in somewhere like Traverse City, I know they like it a little bit sweeter. We add a little bit of brown sugar to our sauces and stuff like that, but you just never know. And we took it very serious. I mean, I put some really, I trimmed out some really nice meat and, I bought extra meat. And I cooked extra pork, and I had this high-grade brisket set aside for that contest. And then, I screwed it totally up. And I was telling everybody, some of my neighbors there, I said, "Man, I screwed the brisket up. We're just hoping to get sixth." And luckily, we hit a couple good tables in pork and chicken, and got some really high scores. I think we got a 177 in chicken, which all that is 1.8 in taste away from a 180.
Mike Wozniak joining me here on the show. So you move on to Rockford for the regional finals. That's in about a month or so. As a quick aside, I'd like to say I did an interview with the KCBS Bull Sheet, and I picked this region, like the Rockford, Illinois region, to produce the whole winner of this whole Sam's Club series. So no pressure, Mike, of course. You'll obviously have some cooks under your belt before that. I mean, you're going to be doing 2 this weekend. Are there teams out there doing it as much as QOW or another top team in a better situation to continue to win and move on because you have the methods and the techniques and all of the stuff honed so well by now? Are you guys in a better situation to win than the teams that aren't doing it as much as you guys?
I think that's absolutely true. There isn't too many situations I haven't seen. And I know normally how to fix things if they're not quite right. We always cook white and dark meat and chicken, and this is just an example. And there's been times when the white meat's hard to cook. If you don't nail the white meat, you know what? You just leave it out of the box and you just put extra dark meat in. And conversely, there was one time when I don't know if we mixed the rub up wrong or whatever, but I bit into the dark meat and it was like my mouth was on fire. And I said, "We can't put this in the box. It's awful." So we just got a bunch of parsley and we put just slices of breast meat down the middle and parsley all around it. And I think we were still able to salvage like a fifth or a sixth out of it. But if we had put, crappy dark meat in there, that would have just pulled the whole score down. You're better off if something doesn't turn out, just leave it out of the box and go with just what you have. That's pretty good.
Mike Wozniak joining me here on the show, pitmaster of QOW. Mike, one of the changes that I really liked seeing was that Team of the Year points will follow the finishes where, before it was just at the local events, and then some teams were just deciding not to move on to those regional rounds because they were chasing Team of the Year for KCBS. Do you think that will increase the popularity of this series going forward, like into next year and years forward?
Right. Well, I've been on the KCBS Rules Committee for the past couple of years, and that was my suggestion. Mine and I think Barry Johnson from Swig and Pig, we talked about it, and we got thinking about it. And really the reason for that rule, that no invitationals or anything like that were points, was that at one time, like when you did the Royal Invitational, there was no other contest that weekend. But, when we started, there was like less than 80 contests a year. Now we're up between 500 and 600. So what we did, we talked to the board, and as one of the rules I suggested, and I think Mike Peters put it up for a vote. And so next year, the regionals and the final and the SAMs and also the Royal Invitational will be points. Because I put forth that scenario. I said, look, here's somebody that qualifies for the Sam's Final, but yet they're in the running for KCBS Team of the Year. Why do we want them to be in that position where they have to choose between one or the other?
Right.
Let them cook. And realistically, if you're cooking the Sam's Final, you're cooking against some damn fine teams.
Oh, for sure.
You don't have an advantage by cooking it. You're actually, you're cooking against, you're not cooking against like half good teams and half teams that are, they're out there having fun. You're cooking against 50 good teams. So if you win that and you get some points out of it, which help you, you deserve it.
Another topic tonight, Mike, that I wanted to hit on is this highly coveted Jack Daniels cook-off. There are a few ways to get in. You win previous year, you get to come back and defend. You get a bung pulled out of the hopper, and you can go. Or you win 7 contests within this defined period of time. You get an automatic invite. A little earlier this year, you punch your ticket with the 7th win to go and compete. Always a good deal to get down there and give it a run, Mike, or would you really not miss it if you didn't go?
We've gone now. This will be our 9th year, and it's like crack cocaine. I think once you get it, you want to keep going. It's one of the most fun contests. We love going there. We have a good time. We actually knew we were going. This is the 25th year, and so they're bringing all the past champions back anyway. Now that was not to compete in the main, call it the main event or the 25th anniversary event, but they're going to bring us back. It's going to be called the Circle of Champions. There's 22 past champions. You got Johnny Triggs, who's doubled up, and Donnie Teal and Bart Clark cooked together one year. And then you got some teams that I don't know if they'll even ever get a hold of them, because it's so long ago. So we're expecting maybe 15 to 18 teams out of all that, maybe more. I don't know. I don't know as a cook yet how they're going to do it, but we're going to be able to cook in 2 events. So far it's us and Pigskins, they're the defending champions. Yep. And so we're going to have the opportunity to cook twice down there.
There's so much majesty that goes along with this contest, Mike, and of course, as you just referenced, you won it in 2010. When you look back at that year, you won the Jack. You also got KCBS Team of the Year that year. Was that like a perfect storm year for you and Beth, or have you felt that other years have been just as good or maybe even better than that one?
No, I don't think, that's all downhill from that year. We won the Kingsford Points Chase also. And what it was, this is what I attribute it to, because we were doing the Kingsford Point Chase, we were traveling all over the country. And we were giving judges we had never cooked for, the opportunity to try something, from, our region. And, a lot of them, liked it. We won contests, basically all over the country. And we did that in 2010 and 2011. And then this last year, last year and this year, we've been staying close to home. Last year, we actually had a good year. We won 8 contests and had 7 reserves, which by, a few years ago, that you were the Team of the Year, and we finished 7th overall. And I know my buddy Parrott he had 9 grands, and he was 9th overall. That's the difference between cooking smaller contests and bigger contests. And, if you're going to go for Team of the Year, you need to do a mix of some medium contests and some big ones. The medium contests, you can really rack up the points for the categories, and then you have to win some of those big contests to get those 50-point bonus. And this like last year and this year, we just have not been hitting the huge contest. Now we've still got some coming up. And, we're going to be right in there. I look for us to be somewhere, in the 2,600 to 2,700 point range. But, True Bud's already has 2,800 points racked up, and he really doesn't have to do too much just to stay where he's at.
Mike Wozniak joining me here on the show. He's the pitmaster of QWOW. Currently, Well, I know this is all wrong because Left Coast Q is currently 9th place, so I went to Barbecue Race for my information. Evidently, that's all bullshit. So where are you Team of the Year right now, points race-wise, Mike?
It's kind of funny. We won a contest and dropped. We're 8th, I believe, overall.
All right.
I think 3 Eyes, they won a contest that had the same number of teams, but I think their throw, you know how the throwout works. You throw out your lowest score.
Yeah.
And so they moved ahead of us. I think they're 4 points ahead of us. And then I can't think of the team that's 6, but they're like another. Oh, Darren from Iowa Smoky D's. Yeah. He's like another few points ahead of us. We've got some low throwouts coming. We're leading Ribs right now, and we have a huge advantage because the next score we throw out is a 136. So if we could do well in Ribs this weekend, we could pick up theoretically, 140 to 200 points, just depending if we, get 2 calls this weekend or just 1 or something like that. We may get none. So you just never know.
Absolutely. So he's going to go to Whiting, Iowa, and then was it St. Charles, Missouri next?
St. Charles, Illinois. It's up
Illinois.
One of the western suburbs of Chicago.
Gotcha. All right. So 2 contests for QOW coming up this weekend. And then they're, of course, moving on to the Sam's Club Regional Final in Rockford, Illinois, which will take place just about a month from now. Mike, always appreciate the time. Good luck tomorrow and then the one in Illinois as well. And we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Hey, Greg, thanks. We'll talk to you later.
You got it. There he is. Mike Wozniak, the Wizard of Woz, ladies and gentlemen. Way late, ran over. That's all right. Good news is I had a sponsor drop out.
Get that free stuff out of
Bad news. Good news is we can do a giveaway. So we're going to shoot through this real quick. This isn't. I'm not going to do a read. Already got a bunch of people lined up. I'm not going to say, hey, this is where you get to. It's going to be gone next week. Don't even worry. Your chance to win the last bottle of Sweet Smoke. Sorry, we did have a winner this past segment for the Purple Pork Masters barbecue sauce. Don Wadlow, Boomer. Don Wadlow won Purple Pork Masters. But you get a chance to win Jim Elser's Pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q, a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q juice in about 3 seconds. Stick around.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
All right. I'm doing it again. I need the feedback. I got to see how this thing works. All right. Your chance to win from Pitmaster Jim Elser of Sweet Smoke Q. 1 bottle of Sweet Smoke Q. Sweet Smoke Q juice. Pork injection. You can get your own at Sweet Smoke and then the letter Q.com. Sweet Smoke, the letter Q.com. Or you can send me an email and try and win it right now in the subject line, QOW. You have to spell it right. This can be hard. You have to spell it right. Or you're not going to win a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q juice from Jim Elser, Pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q. Sweet Smoke, the letter Q.com. Sweet Smoke Q. QOW wins it. Good luck.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Nominate button. It's a nominate button.
Basic Patrick, negative. You did not win this time. QOW. You have to spell it right. You spelled it right, but you didn't spell it right. Uh-oh. John Dawson, boom. All capital letters, QOW. Ho-ho! Boom! Double! There you go. Capital Q-U-A-U, QOW. I mean, I don't know why, but that's what it is. Look it up. I mean, don't look it up on on barbecuerace.com. Oh, we're going to have fun with that one, I can guarantee it. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Johnny Dam, host of the
All right, Johnny? What? Come on, give me my outro music. Jeez. All the way back in the first hour, folks, we talked with Ted Reeder at 9:14. Remember that? That was awesome. TedReeder.com is the website. And then at 9:35, we talked to Candy Weaver, president of KCBS, owner of Barbecuers Delight. I love Barbecuers Delight lapels. Sponsor of the show. You'll see it flashing up here on the lower third here in a second. 10-14, it was Matt Dalton breaking down their awesome season right now. 5 grand championships this year. 2 more. They're going to the Jack with Mike Wozniak, who happened to be our 10:35 segment guest. Look, if you cook with raw cast iron, season it each and every time. Heat it up, hit it with a grill brush, and then as it starts to cool down with a Crisco, little pan, let it bake back in. Generations of rust-free service. I'm not even kidding. Also, September 11th, 2001, I will never forget. I want to thank everyone that watched on Roku. I want to thank everyone that tuned into the stream live on their smart devices or just through the website, thebbqcentralshow.com, to get the audio file only. And, of course, I always want to thank my live computer video watchers at OutdoorCookingChannel.com. Absolutely my pleasure to have you. Hopefully you enjoyed it tonight. September 11th, 2001, I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe, good night now.